And there is my hard drive running. All right, guys, so here we go. This is the final countdown, final catch-up to the final donation request from the Maui Food Bank. And it's taken a little longer than I thought it would, plus I only had half 1 out of 2 days from last week. So we're going to pick it up nice and hot here. And this next one is coming to us from, if you are here, say how's it, and I'll wait for you for a second. The name is Chat Pile, I think is the name of the person who wants me to listen to. Oh, that's funny. Maybe it's a band named Chat Pile, because the song here that we're going to listen to is called Pamela by Chat Pile. So stand by. Let me see what we got here. Chat Pile. All right. I guess this must be it here. So let me get my headsets on. All right. I got to turn up the volume on this as well, so let me have a quick second. I got to turn that up. Okay. So here we go, guys. This is our slowly but surely getting to the bottom of the list catch up for the Maui Food Bank donations. Before I get on this again, I want to reiterate my thanks to Turnip 1 AM and I'm a Sneak. Thank you. All the folks that are here hanging out, that have chimed in the chat that I said aloha to earlier, thank you for coming back and hanging out. There's 7 billion people on the planet, and 55 of you guys want to hang out with me on a Saturday. And to me, that's mind-numbing. And I know that there's quite a few of you who are just lurking and hanging out. And I just want to say hi to you guys, even if you don't pop in to say say anything in the chat. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, so I don't know anything about this Pamela, and so the only thing that's making me feel a little like I might be in for a nice little ride is the fact that above the word God's Country, that kind of looks like super death metalcore calligraphy of sorts, but there could be a hidden meaning there. So let's see what this is all about. This is Pamela. All right. Would this be considered like shoegaze?
Buzzing, but I never can keep my eyes closed long enough. I know amount of dreaming can bring you back. So I can't remember if I told you I loved you that morning out on the lake. You called for your mother and my heart broke into a million pieces. A kind of darkness you just never get used to. So I stare at the lake, biding my time. Waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die. Wonder if all this pain I carry is strong enough to...
Super interesting sound. It sounds like it was recorded in like a dungeon from Game of Thrones. And I mean that in the essence of like, yes, there is that darker ambience, like it like there's a complete like an ambience reverb on the whole master mix a little bit. It kind of feels like they've moistened that with that kind of dungeon, basement hall kind of darkness. The bass sound is so fat and so rattly, and it really suits perfectly with the drum textures as well. And what I mean by that is that the engineering technique through this whole thing seems to be very unrefined but polished. There's secret sauce to that saying. So in other words, purposefully engineered to sound the way it's sounding, that takes work, you know, because we're in such a phase of everything has to sound so separated and isolated and stuff like this. Well, another thing that I love about this is the guitar that's being played. It's like one guitar that's kind of fat in the middle. It's not a small compressed sounding guitar. So it's allowing the tones to really bubble through, but it does have some stereo ambiance. So it's not one of these things that's showing trickery of like guitar left, guitar right, overdubs and layers and stuff like that. And it has this kind of molasses kind of heaviness that at first I thought kind of sounds a little shoegazy, the way some of the notes are running in together. Like that, shoegazy. I don't know, shoegazy. Hey, how you doing? I don't know. Hey, what you got? I got over there with. Give me 2 shoegazy and a fugazi. I'm sorry, that was. Yeah, I think I just stick to doing my reaction. So I'm trying to be a comedian. Fail. Anyhow, this guy's performance is really cool. He's not just, let's just say, talking-ish. He's meandering and microtonally through these chord changes, and the chord changes are kind of trippy too. Anyhow, on I go. Let's keep going.
Lift your body from the water and make you be alive again. I think stupid things like this all the time, but I would rather trade my life for yours if only the water could bargain. If only they had been watching. I can't turn back, only face forward, but I would rather trade my life for yours if only the water could bargain. If only they had been watching.
There's a little overdub going on here.
Turn back, only face forward. Open my eyes now,
Or it sounded like.
when your voice is always calling, but I can't control the rage inside of me. I spill the blood till the world is done with me. I want you to know right now that I loved you. When you left, it almost killed your mother, but something inside me propels me forward. The kind of rage you just never get used to.
Doesn't this kind of have a Beck Loser kind of performance vibe? Just the way he's performing it, kind of the slurry words kind of swarming out of his mouth kind of a thing. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of that.
So I stare at the lake, biting my tongue, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die.
Waiting to die, that's what he's saying, I guess.
And everything that I touch is dead. Everything that I wanted is gone. Nothing before me now but pain. Nothing before me but pain. And your voice, of course.
What's going on in the bottom there with that double bass,
Someday
octave
I'll
lower?
reach you. In my dreams I can reach you. So I stare at the lake, biding my time, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die, waiting to die. Guidance of me,
Wow.
force of me, spill the blood, spill the blood, and resurrect my son, resurrect my son, resurrect my son, resurrect my son. Stare at the lake, biding my time, waiting to die, waiting to die.
All kidding aside, damn, that was an insanely heavy track. And somebody left a comment here. It sounded like the journey somebody was going through as he was getting more and more drunk, like emotionally. I tied that into how the music was powering and changing as the journey of this artist was blowing up, and I, me, I'm not really, when it gets like this, I try to listen to the lyrics as much as possible. I was catching into the, waiting to die thing. And so this, like, it started getting a little heavy for me. And then, what was the last thing he was saying? Bring back my son, or something of that nature. I was like, oh, geez, man, this is just heavy. Just from what little I heard in the interpretation along with the music, this was an abstract, hellish slice of genius in the artist and the song in combination, reflecting just the heaviness that I just heard. It was freaking insane. At first I was like going, yeah, this is going to be nice and swimmy and all that, and all of a sudden I started going, oh, damn. Someone's in big pain there. And there's probably a lot of people that can identify with pain. So it the song kind of matches the intensity and the darkness of what you might be going through, potentially, if you're having that kind of a hard turn in life and stuff. But that was gnarly as Frank. All right. Well, I don't know if, once again, if Chat Pile did come in here. I don't know if he did, but thank you so much for that donation. Next up, excellent Walter. Are you here? I'll wait and see if you are. In the meantime, I'm going to get your track ready. Thank you so much, excellent Walter. That was very excellent of you for donating $20 to the Maui Food Bank. And I'm going to get your track ready right now. It's called Black Bart by Volbeat. Don't know what this is here. Let's see what this is. Okay. Thanks, I'm a sneak. Resurrect my son. Yeah. Oh, geez. I'm sorry. Just thank you for that. NJDRJ. That's what I was hearing. Resurrect my son. I'm like, that's kind of gnarly. Okay, anyhow, I'm back to it. And so let's do this. One more time. Walter, excellent Walter. I'm sure you're not here, but nonetheless, this is for your donation, and this is your request. This is called Black Bart by Volbeat. I think this looks like this is a song. It is. Okay. Universal Music Group. Here we go. What a great guitar tones. Crushing track. There's in the melody, there's a little essence of Black Sabbath. At very first couple notes, I was going, sounds very Ozzy-ish. Not only because of the melody, the first maybe 6 bars of the melody, but it almost sounded like he used the same double layered vocal technique that Ozzy's engineering and all that is very well known for. The guitar tone is absolutely crushing. Somebody was saying this is a band from Sweden, was it? Somebody said that here. But yeah, anyhow, I just wanted to chime in on that. It definitely had some of that Black Sabbath vibe with the melody and the vocals. But one thing caught me off guard a little bit was that slide guitar bluesiness that kind of snuck in on the turnaround of the hook. I was like, okay, different. There it is again. Oh, little cut time. There it is again. Okay, I got to recant something. I did say at that last stop that, or at one point, that it went into a cut beat. I guess this would be more like the standard time. What we're hearing before is double time. It wasn't cut beat. Ah, my bad. The guitar tones on this are insane, but somebody typed down here, Planet Radionics. Yes, true. A chorusing effect too. I think, I don't know much about, I never really looked it up on the technique that was used to engineer Ozzy Osbourne's stuff, whether or not they ran it through a chorus or doubled it. It makes sense to run it through some, so it was all outboard gear back in the day there. Some kind of a choruser and stuff. But nowadays they have things, doublers and quads, that you can get a chorusing effect without actually pulling that into the side chain. So it's a very unique world. I get a little cluttered by that. But it is a very clean, power-produced track. And there's not an insane amount of overdubs. These first two tracks have been that, and I like that. Where I'm listening here, I'm actually listening more to the song than trying to decipher layers, because there aren't that many layers. Still really good musicianship. I love the hard left and right splits where they do dink around with harmonies when they melody out on a slight lead. But and the drum sounds sick. Boy, that solo was really tucked back in there. That was great, man. I love that track. I was in my head a lot, like I said, because there isn't a lot of layers to handle there. I will say we heard 4 times the hook. How long is this song? The song is a little over 4.5 minutes. We heard the hook 4 times, and it was a dual hook, because you had him singing the melody of it, right? And then every 2 bars, you would hear that answer back melodically. sing, 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 sing. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. So I'm purposely locking in those, those memory puzzle tricks to, get you, iced in on the hook. That guitar solo, didn't that sound kind of pulled back to you? I was just kind of listening to it. I was going, that solo was a little back there. And it was a good solo. And it had kind of a warmer tone solo than I would have expected. But it was pretty back there. I was able to pull it out, but I really dug that. Anyhow, this was great. I never heard of Volbeat. And I guess this one was called Black Bart. And this was great, but these first two songs were really fun for me to open up with because, like I said earlier, there isn't, a sick amount of layers for me to have to, get my brain going, in the deep dive, but I'm sure that's going to change soon. Right, it doesn't feel too heavy, there's nothing really, good old-fashioned raw, powerful rock, Something else I do want to mention, though, on that I like, that I heard in the solo, a little dynamics that I like to do on guitar solos of when I do them, is crossing up mutes with solid contact. So mute, 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 note, mute, 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 note, or a mute, mute, note, mute, note, mute, mute, note, mute, note. So you get that. So there's still a rhythmical content to the solo, but you're muting, it doesn't have to be the root of it, but you're going in and out of the dynamics of root and, clean, clean shot, mute, clean shot. And for some reason, I don't know, I noticed that on this track. So yeah, that's that. Melodic, yes, melodic for the win. Okay. Number 74 is nothing. What was number 74? Oh, somebody just wanted to give $20. Okay, Happy Face Bear, you just wanted to give $20 and you didn't even request a song, so thank you very much, go. All right. Next up, Dom2364. If you're here, you're up next. Thank you so much for your $20 donation for the Maui Food Bank. It's really impacting Maui now. Maui has finally gotten to the place where the giving away of the goods necessary to live and survive at the moment has streamlined itself, and the distribution has been, and foremost, the people of Hawaii, opposed to, let's say, the municipalities and the military and all the rest of the world getting involved. Don't worry, I'm not going there. That's not where this is going. It's just an amazing, wonderful human experience to see how the people of Maui and Lahaina and stuff, the residents, the Kanaka Maoli, doing what they can to help and pull through and stuff like that. That's, and what we do here is also a small bit of that, but so glad that we did it together. All right, here we go. This next one for Dom2364. Thank you for your message. This is a prog fusion guitarist from UK who's worked with Owain. All right, is this link safe? Yes, it is. Okay, stand by. I'm gonna open that in a new tab. Give me a second here. Just want to make sure we're good. Owain is insane. Owain is another level of fusion, and just, yeah, I need to do just a few runs of Owain one day. And his buddy, Jeff Gardner. I do watch their stuff. I watch their stuff and I just go, fuck, really? You know if you know. All right, stand by. Here we go. This is Regressor, the Squid King. Some progressive rock fusion. All right. Already love the ambient start on this. Oh, wow. Nice little sequence back there. God, there is not one thing I'm not over the moon about in this track. You know, one of the things about musicians like this, there's that one artist from Australia that also I'm a huge fan of, instrumental guitar, Pliny. I think it's Pliny or Pliny, I think it is. This obviously is a lot more fusion-esque in its composition. But one of the things that I'm truly admiring is the use of the guitar and the way plugins have changed to give you the abilities. I mean, it's nothing new, but it's gotten so much better that you could create pad-style tails off of chords or double stop, triple stop, quad stop plucking configurations. You know, so these long tails of these chords ring out. And while you have these chords ringing out and a new chord comes in and overlaps, it almost like kind of all of a sudden folds. It takes something that might be very big and intervallically spread out, and then the next chord sneaks in and starts to fill in these little pukas, you know, these little sonic holes, and they fade in and out, and that breathing is just magical. It takes a lot of time to write that kind of stuff too, because you got to practice with the delay or the reverbs on it. This guy's phrasing is fantastic. I love the subtleness and the finesse of his melodic composition there. And so I'm sure I'm going to be in for some real fun stuff coming forward. But this whole ambient opening vibe with this kind of prog fusion style. When did this release? A year ago? So I guess this was fairly recent. But right now, this is... Hello. Nice bass. The drummer and the drumming arrangements is unreal. Here it comes. Nice chord drop there. nice legato. Ah. Would have loved to have heard a little more of the bass in the mix. Great note to leave it dangling on there. That was great. Would have never heard of this song, or is it the artist? The Circle Pit. I don't know if it's an artist or the name is the Circle Pit, or the Squid King. Regressor. I'm a little confused there. Titles, like I don't know which one's which. Either way you look at it, a couple of other things I want to say about this. The skill set is there. It seems like for them to have just like, you know, shot off fireworks throughout. One of the things that I mentioned earlier is I love the space that they created, though very rhythmical, you know, little playing around with time and stuff, you know, through some of their changes. But they left a lot of room so that the drummer, even the drummer could spice up the composition so that his performance really came across without being too much of anything. There wasn't one line in there, one arrangement, one part of any of the performance that I felt was, you know, a bit of fireburst just for because. And what I mean by that is that, you know, that's just the way the mood of the song affected me, where I was kind of in the back of my head hoping, I hope I'm not going to get like a whole earful of shred there because it's going to move me out of my space. That's because I also think too much. That's because that's what I do. In the solo, or in the other section, it was funny, somebody said, yeah, as soon as somebody plays a guitar without a headstock, you know you're in for something. Yeah, I'm securely hanging onto my headstock because I only know 4 notes, so I'm in a safe place. I love the legato work of that guitarist. You know, for those of you who don't know what legato is a way that you can perform. It's legato's different instruments. It's a technique. It's a dynamic. That not every note in guitar, not every note gets picked. Legato is going to be on pull-offs and hammer-ons, and so you're doing this. I learned legato actually from studying saxophone players. I was, you know, when I was working on, you know, doing solos and stuff, I'd listen to saxophone players or clarinet players or reed players or anything of that nature, because you know, as funny as it may sound, Kenny G was an absolute freaking genius. And that legato is connecting of all the notes. So all that moving can have, you know, and there was a nice little legato run that guitar player did in there that was like, butter. Epic. This was another great find here on this channel. This is great. I got to go check. I'm going to dig deeper into this artist and see what else is hidden. Okay. How's that for spelling? I think this is it, no? Would this be it? Is that it? I think so. It does what? Yep, top one? Okay, good. Fantastico! All right. All right, let's do this. Glyden, thank you for your donation. And really means a lot. I appreciate it. Also, you coming out and hanging out here and doing the hang with me. I also appreciate that as well. All right, guys, here we go. This is from Skyrim. The Dragonborn comes, and the Swedish Radio Symphony Orchestra. And I take it this is a song, so because it's featuring, I guess, Sabina Swerker. So, all right. I'm definitely looking forward to this. Let's sink our teeth into this one, folks. All right.
Produktion som Sabina Swerker.
It's an end to the evil of all Skyrim foes. Beware, beware, the Dragonborn comes. For the darkness has passed and the legend yet grows. You'll know the Dragonborn's come. Novakin, naloksin los varin, vadain pokun, no ferrakas tval, marfinoro algran, konos honsin rotsan, novakin, varin,
Yeah, I totally. Her pitch is phenomenal. The opening it was a little low, Kairu. Now, the very first minute and a half, the melody, the approach of the vocals and stuff, kind of pulled me into a lull and kind of reminded me of Scarborough's Fair. I don't know why that was. Just this very, even if it's not, even if it was kind of like just a close enough to the melody that it just kind of sat in that same group of, you know, powerful melodies. It was such a subtle opening and stuff. And I love how the intimacy was her voice with a little bit of support. And then there was like a single cello support. And then there was the bassoon. Was it the bassoon actually, the higher register of the bassoon that was giving like this comfort at the very beginning of her phrasing. And then you would start seeing all the little instruments identify with or in unison, like the piccolo. And then I think you saw the rest of the reed sections coming in. But then when she just came through this whole section, something else I was looking at is the staging and the miking and the sound of this sounds kind of like it's just maybe I have my expectations to settle. But let me look at the day. Oh, this is really 7 years ago. Can't, you know, or it could be many different reasons why it's just not as separated as I thought it would be. But her vocals, as she's starting to, you know, clear out the houses, you know, come from the diaphragm and really start to push out. I was looking at this, where's she getting it? If she has a monitor in front of her, or she's just using the core power of the orchestra behind her, you know, as that you know, core support beam for her to just, you know, perform in that capacity. I don't know. I'm not really over familiar with opera singers or singers that perform for the classical orchestras, whether or not they have an earpiece or something. But her voice is wonderful, and it's just incredibly pitch perfect. Has a little bit of a Pirates vibe to it right here with that brass section.
Our hero claims a glorious art. I tell you, the Dragonborn comes. You'll know the Dragonborn's come.
Wow. What a great performance. Of course, give her a standing ovation. I love that. You know, I think I said pretty much all I needed to about that track. But I want to go back into something that I say when I watch orchestral versions of songs that are done in games. Obviously, there's going to be unique orchestrations that are going to be done in order to translate the score to orchestral, even if it was originally done with a classical score in place. Depending on the size of the orchestra, two things have to be kind of maybe reconfigured. In the case of like A to B comparison, if this was an orchestral score originally, the way it sounds exactly right now to how it was performed in the game, once again, there'll be nuanced changes in dynamics and reassigning maybe if what reed might play this and that, depending on the size of the section or what's available. But the one thing about watching live performances is you get to watch the connectivity of the human experience of musicians and professionals playing their instruments. And you can A/B it. If you're not that musician, if you're not that kind of a music listener, and you've heard me say for the last 6-8 months, you've been hanging out with me, you know, strings, when they do the ostinato, dun, 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 dun. Me doing this is one thing. Having that camera angle with the cellos or the violas or the violins, and you can see how the bows are bouncing off the string with a little bit of the rosin dust every now and then, you know. And finally, for me, one of the big joys of watching live orchestral performances is watching the people getting involved in the music that they're playing, you know, the musicians. You know, there's always those that are just stoically into doing what they're doing or whatever they're playing. And then there are those who are very, you know, emotive, if you would, with their physical emotion, you know, playing and stuff, and they're swaying with the, you know, that's because the energy as a whole, as a composition, as a body of work, as a piece of music in front of an audience, and then surrounded by your peers, which would be musicians and musicians. You just all of a sudden become, you know, not all of them. Some of them are just trying to chill and they're into their space. Some of them are, you know, a little more forthright with their physical reaction to what they're playing. But that's part of this whole experience. And so that was great. Thank you so much for having me listen to that. Yes, I guess that's probably the best way to put it. I'm a sneak. If you read his comment there, orchestra is special because everything has to work exactly right for it to work. And that is so true. You know, you might have 18, you know, first violinists, but they're all got to be on that same note. If there's slight deviation to any of that, be it bowing, rhythmic, or finger placement, it, you know, could send it off in a wrong way. So that was another very powerful, definitive dynamic I didn't say. Y'all got to play this right too, first time. So, hey, Crescendo. Oh, Crescendo. I got to get back to you. You know what I'm talking about, right? So this is for you, and this is one of your multiple donations that you dropped here during the Maui Food Bank. So thank you, Nerevar Rising. This is Konjaku Monogatari. Konjaku Monogatari. Eri Sugai Samurai Collection, the official audio. Which one is it? The top one? Is Dancing T-Rex, Brown Chicken, Brown Cow. Okay, great. Alrighty. Stand by, let me get some agua. Oh, by the way, guys, I will have you know that I am writing right now my very first super epic boss battle piece of music. And it is a hyper EDM gent orchestral piece. Just thought I'd let you know. I started something. Whoa. Whoa. Seriously, I had a conversation with a friend of mine that I was having. I want to share this with you guys just for like 2 minutes, and then we'll get right on this. I had a conversation with my friend yesterday, and I was talking about how completely spent I was in writing music until the last couple of years. All the exposure and the influence I got from the music from the heavy metal channel, and then even more so from this channel, and hearing the expansiveness of music that people were enjoying beyond my myopic world of being a library composer. And I was just, you know, I felt that my life, as lucky as I was to write music for a living, and I still have dividends that come from it and stuff, I still felt like the monkey that had the big drum and the cymbal and, you know, play all these things because that was my job. I got asked to write a piece of music and I would turn it in. And so all that creativity was just kind of pocketed in whatever themes and formulas I was asked to write. But because of the journey on these two channels, especially this one, I finally said, you know what? I think I have a little left in me. So that's what's happening. So I've already started tracking some pretty heavy craziness. That's that. All I want to lead you into is that it is it's a high-paced boss fight with EDM, genty metal, and hybrid orchestral compositions. And then it all comes together at the end for one big solid cartouche. So I'm hoping I'll be done within a week to 10 days, but I just want to let you know it's because of this journey. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have never turned on my studio again. Seriously. So, of course, I'm going to show you guys. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys. Yes, it's an RPG. It is. It's actually an RPG style. I kind of caught a little bit of it, like going, you know, I kind of like how Final Fantasy VII was doing what it was doing. I kind of like that RPG kind of vibe. So I just went, you know what? I'm feeling it. So it's going to be an RPGeebz composition of an RPG style, super big boss, bone crushing people's elbow battle. And yes, oh look, some of my stuff is bleeding over. And yes, you guys are going to be the first to hear it here on the channel. So when I'm done, I'm going to give you guys the very first boo-boo of that for sure. So just want to let you know. All right. I don't know. Don't open Pandora's box, Crescendo. I don't know that any gaming company wants an old fart like me. Usually the branding and imaging is having young upcoming composers. And plus I might be too hard to negotiate with. It's hard to negotiate with somebody that's already sitting on the beach. You know what I mean? This motherfucker. No, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Hang on for a second. I'm such a prima donna. I'm just kidding. But truth be told, it's like, how much work could I possibly do? Like, it's funny because in negotiations, a lot of times people are like, you know, you can get somewhere with your life. You can, and blah, 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 and, you know, the next job will be the best. And if you work for us and just do it for this month or this amount, the next job is going to have more money and all that. I'm like going, you guys are going to have to work harder to try to get me off the beach. So, yeah, I just went, yeah, oh, Crescendo, you just said it right there. The main reason why I'm doing this piece of music is because I can without any expectation. So I'm not writing a piece of music to get released and people to like and go, yay. I'm not writing a piece of music because it might get me a job. I'm not writing a piece of music because I might make some money or whatever the case is. I'm finally at a place going, I'm actually influenced by all these composers. So, and then my own style of composition, and I'm going to have some fun. A matter of fact, there's even, I have it written down. I got a little I have a little soft, and I'm actually writing it on paper a little bit, that I have 8 bars of chiptune composition in it as a breakdown. You know how breakdowns in heavy metal is usually my breakdown's going to be a chiptune. I don't know. All right, I talk about myself more than I need to. All right, stand by. I almost choked. All right, here we go. True that, Cat Dad from Another World. And Z Colo. Absolutely. All right, guys, here we go. I'm sorry, I just got all excited about sharing that with you guys. All right, here we go. This is Konjaku Monogatari. I'm butchering the shit out of this. Konjaku Monogatari Eri Sugai Samurai Collection. All right, best I could do there. Here we go. All right.
神々から与えられた四季折々の島忘れないで壊さないで語り続ける心
Wow, old school analog pad there. There's something so magically beautiful about that. Once again, I don't know. There's a couple of flute instruments that are used in Japan. One is the shakuhachi. Anyhow, it is such a whenever I hear it played, especially in this capacity. It reminds me of like anything that I can imagine in Japan. I've never been to Japan. I hope to go one time before I punt. And everything that I imagine that I know from just being exposed through TV, social media, 60 some odd years of life. Beautiful, cultural, whimsical air wisping through cherry blossom trees and just everything that's just absolutely beautiful. You know, the big mountain with the snow in the background and stuff, and just, you know, and it's so ethereal and it's so ambient. This particular track, though, what I find really unique is, I'm going to take a guess here. It kind of sounds like it's the same vocalist doing all the harmonies and stuff. And even at the beginning, when it sounded like there could be a few voices that are happening there, I'm going to press on either it was a doubler that was used or something. It's not a bad thing. I'm just engineering geeking out right now. I don't need to be right or wrong, but it's uniquely beautiful and perfect. But the tone of it sounds like perhaps the same singer was doing the overdubs. I don't know. But one of the more compelling things about the track so far was the choice to use a very old school analog pad as its comfort food. Sonic musical comfort food. You know, in the sense that it's given that beautiful ambient ethereal bass, but then it has that spongy analog vibe of like the old Juno 106 style synths, or one of the old Prophet 5 style synths and stuff like that. Very spongy, you know, pre-Korg kind of days and stuff. But I love that combination. That combination, if you've got that old school sounding pad, you've got the beautiful voices, and then you have that flute instrument. And to me, I could just sit here and just like, just chill and melt, you know, and just trip out on it. There's very few styles of music that can make me trip out when they infuse ambient to it, and this style of composition is one of them. You know, something else I want to mention. So here's something that's unique that happened here. And, you know, flame me down if I'm wrong. But at that point, when we started getting into a little bit more of progressive harmonies in this arrangement, it leaned a little more towards the, you know, pop culture choral arrangement styles of Western compositions than, let's say, harmonies that I might have heard if it was traditional Japanese choral works. And because I don't, hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Turned off the mic for you, you didn't need to hear that. And because I don't have a definitive and a deep enough education on Japanese choral works, I just don't know that I've heard many Japanese choral works that have, you know, a lot of the kind of cluster configured harmonies in performances, because I don't know very much at all of Japanese musical theater where there might be choruses involved. So that was a very unique sound to blend out those kind of that kind of choral vibe in there. And but I love every bit of it. That's why this composition is just killing it for me. It's because it's giving me, I mean, it's without a doubt sticking to the core effect of the piece being a genuine composition that has, you know, overwhelming, you know, Japanese stylistic arrangements and stuff. But these little fusions of, you know. That was a great piece of work. Man, I really love that. There was a couple moments too where I kind of faded away from forgetting what I was doing here. Yeah, that bottom, I'm a sneak. That bottom, I think you might be hearing, would be the drone or the the left octave that might be held down by the analog pad, because there was that kind of a light koto drum that was being hit there, but it definitely wasn't giving a lot of power impact. So a lot of times, I've done this before where I've had to write pieces of music where I don't want the velocity of the drum to be hit so hard because I want lower resonance of that to ring out, so you hit it lighter, or maybe even flip it to a mallet, a cotton mallet or something. Yeah, this unbelievably beautiful piece of work here, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm slightly just kind of over it, but this was a great listen. I'm glad I heard this as well. Really quick, some people brought up the band Hiroshima. How many of you guys heard of that band Hiroshima? They must be all in their 60s and 70s now. If anybody, how many of you guys have heard of Hiroshima? I got a surprise for you. That's why I'm asking. Come on, you guys, chime in. How many of you guys have heard of the band Hiroshima? Or at least heard it. I know I've got some older folks here that are like my age and stuff. Yeah, not familiar? Okay, so the band, the Hiroshima Band. I think somebody had brought up earlier. My friend's the bass player for Hiroshima. They've been around since the 70s. And my friend Dean Cortez has been the bass player for the last 30 years, I think. But here's the big connect. My dad did an arrangement for Hiroshima in the 70s that was nominated for a Grammy. It's funny it was brought up here. All of a sudden, all these memories came back. I can't remember the name of the song. I have the award at my mom's house, where the Grammy nominated songs get a certificate that gets framed and stuff. And I can't remember what it was, but can't remember what arrangement it was. But it was just a string arrangement. But it was the only song I think that they were nominated for a Grammy in the 70s for. And then my dad just happened to have done, the string arrangements for it. But I thought that was kind of small when it popped up here. And somebody said, "Hey, you ever heard of Hiroshima?" I was like, boy, if I got a story for you. And the bass player, Dean Cortez, actually the Cortez family lived just around the corner from us in Studio City when I lived there for a few years in the 70s. And he was the introduction that I had to Joe Procaro. Jeff Procaro's father, Jeff Procaro, the drummer from Toto, as well as just being an all-time genius drummer. And that's how I got lessons from Joe Procaro, was from Dean's father, who talked to my dad saying, "Oh, you ought to take lessons from Joe Procaro." So yeah, small. Sorry, you just opened up a pre-senility moment where I started thinking about my past going, fuck, I totally spaced on that. That really happened. So, okay. Yeah, no. They back in the day, Kairu, I don't know if they still do it, but if you get nominated for a Grammy, you'll at least get some kind of a plaque or a certificate, like one of those official kind of graduation diploma-looking pieces of paper that's on parchment, fake parchment or something. I don't know, something weird like that. But yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. Now they just send you a text or an email. Here, we're too cheap. Print this out yourself, you fuckers. Okay. All right, let's keep moving on, my friends. What's next here? Okay, this next track is from Pouncing Moogie. Pouncing Moogie, are you here, sir? Pouncing Moogie? Blah, 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 blah. Are you here? Okay, in the meantime, I'll get your song ready. From the game Okami, The Rising Sun. Oops. Allah. So this is another, it looks like you guys are all excited. This is another beautiful piece of work, obviously. You guys are all pumped with that. Then after this, I'm going to take a short break because believe it or not, look, I went through all this coffee. Look at how dirty my mug is, guys. You know, it's kind of like a pan. You know how they say don't really clean your pans because all the years of steaks before it will give it an essence of like, so I don't know. I'm thinking I got to get me some baking powder on this. So after this song, I'm going to take a short break and get a cup of coffee and get back into it. All right, guys, let's do this. Once again, Pouncing Moogie, thank you so much for your donation. Very much appreciated. The folks in the Maui Food Bank and the folks that it's serving in Maui as well. We all thank you very much for your donation. All right, guys, let's do this. All right. Big MIDI stack. So you're saying this was a really big boss fight. Obviously, I'm not familiar with the game, if Okami is the name of the game or if Okami is the game company. I love the thickness and the layering of the MIDI stacking of what is kind of a combo hybrid of sizzly strings and brass sections that really fills it up. You know, and with the constant, you know, it's obviously a banging section where you're doing some kind of fighting and stuff. But once again, so this is a final boss fight, and Okami's the game. Okay, it's the most Japanese game ever made. Oh, really? Oh, I might have to check that out. Just curious if it looks like that. But in my mind, I am imagining like full-on samurai battles, but I don't know if it's the 2D style like Final Fantasy VII. But anyhow, back to the music. There are some very unique arrangements that are in there, or accents in the percussion department. I'm thinking I'm hearing tube bells every now and then. I'm hearing some chimes sweep in and out. Obviously, we have that at the bottom. But it also has, once again, a layered flute instrument on top of it. So one of the other things that I pull from this is that there are some unique chord changes that are pretty, for those of us who are musicians, when I say the word predictable, that's not a bad thing. We all know that, you know, because we learn that in theory, or we learn that in all the years that we write, that you just go, ba, 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 da, da, ba, ba, you know, that there's going to be a series of chords in there. Occasionally they change it up. But there is a series of chords that I find very consistent in the Eastern composers' stable, sonic stable of uses. And this is one of them, those kind of chord changes and stuff. Anyhow, let's continue. Sounds like taiko drums, but they're back in the mix. some pretty enriched layers in there going on there, you know, with the arrangements that are trying to pseudo-define itself as sections, like the brass section arrangements, string arrangements, etc., etc. Now, the one thing about this that sells it for me, though, being that it's not obviously live orchestral piece in the whole of it, is the fact that, you know, as composers and engineers and producers in today's day and age, when we're writing a piece of music and it's us having to engineer opposed to, you know, 50 years ago, is the fact that if you add the just the right amount of hall reverb to it, you get away with the trying to sound like vibe, because it has that hall effect. You know, and that in of itself, you can put a hall effect on anything, but a lot of times it doesn't work on a lot of things. You do it on arrangements like this, and that kind of removes a little bit of, it's like a little numbing gel, if you would, on the fact that, okay, it may not be completely live, but man, it sounds huge. And the way it's arranged, though, does sound like it's arranged with sections in mind, you know. I love that bit. That synthy pop pop right there reminds me of like horn blasts. Resolve me, baby, right there. Resolve me. So it sounds like it might be repeating a little bit. Oh, just as I say that, it's starting to fade. All right. That was great. I was getting, believe it or not, in the last 2 minutes, I was just listening to the, you know, the chords in the key that were being used and stuff like that. And, you know, there's so much power in what some might consider parochial or homogeneous chord changes. And that's where the magic of a composer comes in, with the abilities to arrange. You know, and for those of you who are musicians or composers, you know what I'm talking about. You know, if you're going to do, like, you know, you're, I don't know, you're going from A to D to G back to A, and that's your chord changes. And you're just strumming that, and then you, oh, I know what else. Oh, I know what else I can do while that's still going on. That's where this becomes like full joy for me to listen to that. this composer had a lot of stuff going on, but like I had mentioned earlier, the power and the richness of the composition was really based behind these really super powerful MIDI stacked chordal performances. Always sounded very big, very large, kind of a brass strings hybrid punchiness kind of a vibe, with a lot of the little fireworks and the flares of. There were some. I mean, obviously the flute instruments, the shakuhachi, if that's what it was. Obviously, there was some live performance in there, but the rest of it was the magic of the arrangements, as well as, like I mentioned earlier, you put a nice little dollop of hall river on there with like a medium pre-delay. You could just about make anything composed in this style feel large and orchestral, and that's why it felt large and orchestral. I was gonna go for a joke there, but I was afraid I was gonna say something to get me canceled because I'm large and orchestral. Oh, I didn't go. So listen, hang on for 1 second. You know what I'm gonna do here? I do want to take a quick break. I want to refill my coffee. So I'm going to take a really quick break, guys, probably about 5, maybe 10 minutes at best. Got to double mug my coffee here. Next up, just to let you know, is going to be Nanton. I have 1 a.m. 1 a.m. That donation, bro. Kesimi. Oh, I've got 2 from Nanton coming up back to back. Oh, the next one coming up, Nanton. Ooh, I look forward to that one because I'm a fan of that soundtrack. I've heard a few tracks from Bastion, and 45800. And oh my goodness, we're rounding the corner, guys. This is sick. All right. Excuse me. So let me do this, guys. Let me give me a second here. I got to go back into my history here and make sure I didn't look at any Shizer videos. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So grim. Let me find the one that I had started with you guys. Ooh, ha ha. Ha ha. Ooh. Let me see here. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a minute. Let me just get to my thingy here and. All right.